So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and I've got my assistant here, who's actually my mother-in-law. This is Iman. So she's going to be helping me along the way and probably doing a little bit of judging, but we're going to try to make sure we minimize any of that. But all right, let's start with the lentil soup. So has anybody had lentil soup before? Yeah. So there's multiple ways that lentil soup can actually be made. Lentil soup can be made with whole pieces of lentils, or it can be made when it's actually ground together. So the method that we're going to use today is the actual with an immersion blender. So we're going to cook everything together, and then what you're going to see us do is take an immersion blender and make everything smooth. So the soup that you're going to have is very creamy. The really great thing about Middle Eastern food is that we don't use a lot of creams. So there's no heavy creams, not a lot of butters, except for the baklava, so close your eyes to that when we get to doing that. Everything's very clean, very healthy, so while your soup may feel like it's very rich, it's actually going to be extremely healthy for you. So the very first thing that we're going to do for our lentil soup is use a really large stock pot and put that on the heat. So what I've done here is I've pre-chopped some onions. So another thing that I'd like to note is that all of your recipes that you have in front of you are your benchmarks. So make sure you guys use that as your starting point whenever you're cooking Middle Eastern food. Always note that what I'm doing here is how I've tailored it slightly to my taste. So while I'm not measuring everything very specifically, I've done this so many times that I understand kind of what I like and what I need, but always follow your recipes. That's your go-to. The great thing is that if you add a little bit more lemon juice or a little bit less garlic or a little bit more garlic, nothing is going to happen. It's just tailored to what you guys like. So please feel free to do that, but if you see me deviating slightly in the actual measurements, that's probably purposeful, and I've done that, I've just done that before. So I've chopped up onions here. You guys have the exact measurements. It doesn't really matter what size your onion look like, so you guys can have large pieces, you can have small pieces, it doesn't matter, we're going to blend it all together anyways, as long as they're not too large in chunks. So we're going to take some olive oil and we're going to coat the bottom of the pot. So this is a really large pot, so it's going to look like I'm using a ton, but just to show you guys, it barely covers the bottom of this pot. So all we're going to do is, while that heats up a second, we're going to toss our onions into the pot. Once they actually become translucent, we're going to take our minced garlic. So we've taken garlic here, minced it up, and we're going to add that in with the onions. One thing that I think a couple of people ask me is that they've had lentil soup and they've tried it, and they don't notice that there's any garlic in it. So garlic is something that I've sort of added in myself. I prefer to have garlic in anything, and I think that the taste is actually richer when you add a little bit of garlic to it. So feel free to not add your garlic. Feel free to add only a little bit, but I find that I think it adds a little bit of flavor to it. So we're going to do our onions first. Which do you guys prefer, the whole pieces of lentil in the soup or the round ones? Does anybody have a preference? No preference, right? Yeah, so you'll see that it's a lot richer and creamier if you blend it together. Sorry? So brown and red. So the red lentils are a little creamy. So we use lentils a lot in Middle Eastern food, and we use brown and green lentils when we're making, when we actually want to keep the lentils whole and make sure that they stay firm. So the brown and green lentils are a little bit firmer, and they can be used if you're making sort of like a saute with onions, and you use that over rice. So those lentils sort of don't break very easily, and they stay really rich and thick as a whole. When we use red lentils, that's for the soup, and it gives it a creamy flavor, and they're very quick to kind of break down. The proteins break down very quickly in it, rather. So you'll notice the taste difference in it as well, because it's a little bit silky. Alright, so we're going to let this get translucent. One thing I'd like to do before we start is note that we are making spicy potatoes here. Who here cannot handle too much spice? Because I can cut that amount if we have, there are a couple here that can't handle a lot of spice. It's okay, it's not a big deal. Just a little bit? Is a little bit of spice okay? Alright, great. So we won't make it too hot, but there will be a little bit of a kick to it. So in Middle Eastern food, we actually use a ton of olive oil. So you can find all the different types of olive oils here. This one is a really great brand. they also have a kind at the market here. It's on sale. Typically, it's a big bottle, and it's like $9. And I use that one personally. It's extra virgin olive oil. I love it. So if you guys like that, you can get that from here as well. All right, the second that you see them start to turn a little translucent, it's not very long, we're just gonna take some minced garlic and we're gonna put that in there. I am not gonna use all of it. This is about 7 or 8 cloves of garlic. That's a lot. So I just wanted to show you back what it looks like. We're not gonna use it. Okay. Do we have any allergies here? That's the other thing. Allergies to sumac? Nope, good. Because one of our dishes wholly consists of sumac and onions, so we want to avoid that. Okay. Are you guys enjoying the fava beans and the hummus in front of you, the green hummus? Have you guys ever had them like that, whole pieces? So essentially the hummus, people are always confused because I tell them, hey, try some hummus, and they look at it, it's green. So this is the way that it comes when it's first grown, and essentially it comes on large, long stalks, and you pick them off, and you can eat them raw like this, or you can roast them in the oven. You can throw them in, toss them with a little bit of olive oil, some salt, some pepper, put them in the oven, and they roast really, really beautifully. They'll still have a little bit of a crunch, but you'll get that nice roasted flavor. I love them, but I eat them green like that, so you can do either. All right, so once you start smelling the garlic and the onions, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take our red lentils. So what I've done with these red lentils, guys, is I've just washed them and I've added some water to liquid soak. So I didn't add that much water, only about this much on top of the actual lentils. So what it did is it just soaked everything up. So while it looks like there's no water in here, the water is inside the lentil. Throw that in there. All right. Saute that for a minute. Is anybody not familiar with Middle Eastern food at all? Is this the first time for anybody? Okay, great. Yeah, so with Middle Eastern food, the one reason that I decided it was a good idea to host this class, there's a lot of stigmas around the Middle East right now, a lot of negative connotations when you say the Middle East. So what I wanted to do was sort of show, well, some of us more than others, but what I really wanted to show was that I personally feel that boundaries can be broken if you share the food and if you share a meal with somebody. So that's the common language between all of us. And there's something really beautiful about tasting another culture's food and sort of understanding where they come from. So I thought it was a great idea to start bringing in some Middle Eastern culture to the classes. All right, so we've lightly sauteed it. What we're gonna do then is we're going to take some of our spices. Right here you see some cumin, ground cumin. So go ahead and throw your cumin on top. And take your turmeric, this is ground turmeric, and this will give it a really rich color. So you can add your turmeric while you're sauteing, or you can add your turmeric a little bit later. It's not going to change the actual soup. I happen to like it because when you roast spices, it brings out a little bit of flavor. So go ahead and just add your turmeric while you are sauteing. And you'll start to smell all those beautiful flavors. Let's lower the heat a little bit. Okay. So once we do that, we're going to take our stock. So my mom traditionally will make chicken stock from scratch. You can do that if you have some on hand. There's no problem with that, or you can just use regular store-bought chicken stock. There's no problem with either one. We're going to use a blend of some chicken stock and some water today. So if you want it a little bit richer, you can add all chicken stock. That's not a problem. If you want it a little bit lighter, just go ahead and add a little bit of chicken stock and a little bit of water. Do some substitution. Sorry? lentils are. So it just soaks a little bit, but it's not. It does go above it. It goes about this much above it. No, I'm sorry guys. It goes this much above where the lentils sit. Yep. Sorry about that. I probably confused all of you. All right. You guys are gonna be able to eat lots of lentil soup today, so I hope you like it. All right. We're gonna do some boiling water. So one way to know if you have enough liquid in the pot is just to let everything settle once you've stirred it, and you should see about that much water on top of it. So there's not a whole lot. Really what's going to end up happening is you're going to grind everything, so your lentils, so you see that? You can still see a little bit of the lentils right here. You can just measure it and see, like there it is. Got that much liquid? That's a good amount. So when you grind your lentils, they're going to become so soft and silky that they'll just mesh into your soup and it'll become one big pot of liquid. So don't worry about adding too much. We'll then add salt. Okay. And we're going to cover this and let this sit while we make some of the rest of the soup. Any questions on the lentil soup? No? All right. Yeah.
So why is this thing you feel like Palestine is not Lebanon? Somewhat.
Yeah, it is.
What makes this Palestine?
I'll tell you. So the safran, the chicken that we're about to do right now, is a very traditional Palestinian dish that you don't see in Lebanon. So you see a lot of, in Palestine traditionally what you see is lots of roast chickens on top of bread. So that's a very traditional thing. You would see rice with roast chicken, with roast lamb. Lots of those sort of more rich flavors. In Lebanon, we would cook chicken or lamb or meat on the grill, very lightly grilled, and it's not a lot of heavy sort of roasting. You don't see that in Lebanon a whole lot. So when you see your sumac, onions, and roast chicken, very, very traditional Palestinian. So my mom's actually Lebanese. I had to teach her this dish. She had never even heard of it. So my dad's Palestinian. He's like, oh yeah, my mom used to make this all the time. So it's interesting to see sort of that every region has their own very specific foods. It's sort of like, you know, between Alabama and Ohio, right? Like why do they eat some different things? You know what I mean? It's a little bit like that. Okay, next thing we're going to make is some safran. That's a little bit complicated to say. I'm going to pick on somebody and make them say it. Who wants to try saying safran? Yeah, safran. Yeah, it's the KH is what makes it a little bit complicated. That sound. All it is roast chicken sauteed with onions and sumac and olive oil. We're going to use a lot of olive oil here. So olive oil happens to be my favorite thing on the face of the planet, so I sort of go overboard sometimes. But let me teach you guys a little trick. One thing that I would typically do when I'm making safran is I would use whole pieces of chicken. So here at the market, I just buy a whole chicken that's already cut up for me. I think it's called chicken fried. It's like the large pieces. You would just saute the pieces of chicken and then roast everything together the same way we're about to do it. You're running short on time, which most of us are. Most of the time I'm running short on time. I just decided it's a good idea to start from scratch, and it's typically a really bad idea. So don't do that. Go ahead and just buy whole roasted chicken here. All I've done is I've literally taken the chicken and I've just removed the breast, removed the leg, removed whatever. I've just broken them all up, and you see whole pieces. So you see the thigh, right, the leg, see the breast here. Just cut them up into individual pieces. So what this gives you guys the ability to do is to share literally big pieces of chicken as opposed to the shredded chicken, which you'll see sometimes in this dish. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our onions. Oh, that's still, can you help me there? Do we have a bigger pan than that? Save this for the potatoes. I am using it. Yeah. What? So what you would do is you would take pieces of chicken. Get a really big pot so that it's not crowded. Season it with salt, pepper, and put olive oil on the bottom of the pan, and just lightly brown each side. So you don't want it to roast in the pan. You just want to brown it on each side so that you get a little bit of color, because it's going to be stuck in the oven to finish off. So everything will cook anyways. You just want that color. So we're going to cut the time like in half by using a roast chicken right now. So you'll see how really easy it is. So get your pan and heat it up with lots of olive oil. This is my favorite part because I kind of go overboard. So there's never too much. If you think it's too much, just add another like quarter cup. All right. So here, all I've done is Bill hates it when I say this, I've winged onions. He's like, what does winging mean? What? Come on, you guys know what winging an onion means. Oh man. Kind of. It's a literal translation from my Arabic. Just shows you guys I'm really a foreigner at heart. It's hilarious. But I've taken an onion, sliced it in half. You lay it on the side that's been cut, and you just slice it into half moves like this, and you just break them apart. They're wings. In Arabic, we say shnah, and shnah is literally, the translation for that is wings. So when Bill was like, what's a wing? I was like, shnah, duh. What are you talking about? So he was like, no, I would say half moons. I'm like, nah, no. So I've heated the olive oil. I'm just going to take the onions and toss them in here. It's a lot of onions, but you're going to see that they're going to cook down and it won't be a whole lot. Okay. So the other thing to note is that there's sumac is the next big flavor in here, and there's a lot of sumac allergies out there. We have one of our really good friends has a very, very bad sumac allergy. So if you guys are hosting people, make sure you ask if there's any sumac allergies, because that can be a common thing if you do not. Sorry? Well, that's another thing, right? There's not a whole lot that really know what it is. Let me show you guys. So if we could pass this around, I want everyone to taste. You just get a couple of cups. You have some cups? Is there anyone that doesn't know what sumac is? Because we're about to, okay, great. We're going to pass them around. Make sure you taste it. It's got a light lemon flavor, and it's a little bit nutty. So when you bite into it, you'll notice that nuttiness. If you just leave it on your tongue, it's going to be very lemon. So we make a dish in Lebanon. It's called fattoush. It's a salad dish. Fattoush is one of my favorite salads. I can't say it's my favorite. And the dressing is made with garlic, olive oil, lemon juice, and sumac. And that sumac brings out that lemon juice flavor so much that you don't have to use a lot of lemon juice. So you guys will really like it.
Would you do the sumac and the tabbouleh?
Sumac is not put tabbouleh, no. I've seen it done sometimes. Traditionally, it's not though. It isn't fattoush though. So I would say that tabbouleh and fattoush are sort of sister salads. You always see them together. So sumac is always used in fattoush. Oh yeah.
Hello, Mother.
Okay, so one thing that I'm doing now is I've noticed that the onions are not coated well in olive oil, since I have a lot of them. So I'm going to drizzle some said, don't be afraid of it. You really want this dish to have a decent amount of olive oil. So what do you guys think of the sumac? It's good, right? So in Persian food, what you see is that they'll always put a little bit of sumac on your table if you go to a restaurant, a Persian restaurant, and they sprinkle sumac on top of the rice, on top of the different dishes, the roast meat. What we do is we cook with it. So I think I was talking about this with one of you guys, that sumac in Middle Eastern food is really used a lot in our dishes because it brings out that really nutty, lemony flavor. And while we do sprinkle it on top of things, it's not really used that much. So that's where you see those subtle differences between cultures. So while Iran is sort of technically considered within the Middle Eastern region, our food is quite different.
I'll steal your spot so she can move next to her friend. That's fine.
Yeah.
I sat there because I couldn't sit.
But what, if you
Yeah,
want to
but
sit there.
but I can come here and
He
sign
was-
in.
I thought you didn't because he was in.
No, I couldn't see her. So thank you though. Oh, I thought we were going to sign.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna coat it, and then in a little bit you'll see that we're gonna add the sumac in it. Sumac will also soak up a little bit of that olive oil, and then we're gonna toss all of that with the roast chicken. So don't be afraid of the olive oil. We're gonna toss it with roast chicken, and then we're gonna take all of our bread. So we're not at that point yet, but I'm gonna sneak peek it a little bit with you guys. So I took this bread. This is not the traditional way that we do it. What we would traditionally do is take sage bread, which is a very, very, very thin bread that you can wrap everything in. So you take a pan, you put the sage bread on the bottom, and leave room on the side. Put all of your chicken and your onion mixture on the inside, and wrap the bread around it so that it creates a pocket. And that pocket will allow the steam to kind of cook the rest of the chicken with the sumac and the onions, and the flavor is outstanding. What we're going to do today, though, because we don't necessarily have that type of bread, is something very similar, but we're going to let the bread soak up all the juices from the olive oil, sumac, and roast chicken. So I've taken, it's Bosnian bread right here, and we've just sliced it into sort of triangles, long triangles, and we are going to take a big sheet tray, and we're going to lay all the bread on the very bottom. We're going to sprinkle with a little bit of olive oil on top. So you'll notice a little bit of olive oil drizzled on top, and we're going to take our entire mixture, toss that over the bread, and roast in the oven. So your bread is going to be soaked in juices, and it's going to be really good. At the before we stick in the oven, we're actually going to drizzle some chicken broth on top as well. So this is going to be your favorite part of the entire meal, because you're going to want 16 pieces of this bread. I advise against it. I've done it before. Carbs are bad, guys. They're bad. But I'm going to keep this here for now, and we're going to go on to our next dish. I want to make sure, yeah, look. This is Bosnian bread. You'll see, I think it's called Bosnian bread there. I don't still have the paper. It's really, really long. So when you guys notice over there, it's Bosnian long bread. It's like that, really. Just like, yeah. Yeah, I would get that. So typically I would go to a Lebanese store. Yeah. They make it. So, I mean, they wouldn't make it in the home. There's bakeries, like small homemade bakeries, right? You go there to your neighbor's house. They have it's essentially what it looks like is the round half moon. And the half moon, what they do is they kind of take the bread and they thin it out with their hands, like pizza dough, as much as they can. Once they've thinned it out, they throw it on top of this big half moon. And they're sitting typically on a mat. So they're sitting on the mat, and the half moon is on the ground. They'll throw it on top, and you'll start to see the bread bubble on the top, and you'll peel it, and then throw it on the other side. And that bread is so thin and crispy, but still very soft and warm. And that's what they would do with the bread. So they would take that and wrap everything together. I know. Trust me, I have a hankering to go back just for the bread, but you can use lavash bread. Just one thing to note with that is that it will start to break and rip a little bit. It's not as elastic. So I have the option to do that with you guys today. I chose not to just because I want to show you guys how to do it in such a way where it's still traditional, but we're not kind of trying to hack the system. That's hacking the system, it'll break and it won't roast. So, Sage bread? Yes, you can. You can find it. There's lots of Middle Eastern stores. One of them is called Leon International, Leon International. It's a great store, and we typically would get all of our bread from there. They have it in the freezer, so they would get it from a bakery and freeze it, and just let it thaw out and wrap everything together. Leon, Leon.
They actually bake their own bread.
Sajj. They do bake some of their own bread. The Sage bread, though, is not.
Oh, it's Sage bread.
Sorry. They're located at Peachtree Industrial, right?
Pleasantdale.
Pleasant Hill, sorry.
Pleasantdale.
Pleasantdale.
Pleasantdale Road.
Pleasantdale. Pleasantdale. Yes. Yep. Okay. Any quick questions? We're going to move on to our next dish while the onions are still cooking. So what you want to see with the onions before you throw the sumac in is them becoming a little bit more translucent. So they'll become a little white. As soon as you see them turn white, you're going to throw your sumac on top. We'll save that for a little bit later. Right now we're going to focus on our potatoes. So what I've done here is I've taken yellow potatoes and all I've literally done is cube them into 1-inch cubes. See how tiny these are? Maybe half an inch. Very tiny pieces of potato. I tossed them in a little bit of olive oil, of course, and some coarse sea salt, and I threw them in the oven until they became crispy like this. So golden brown crispy. You can fry them. That's really the traditional way to do it. They fry the potatoes. Trying to be a little healthier here and save my calories for the bread. So I've decided that I was just going to roast them in the oven, and it's easier to do and a little bit more approachable. So cube up your potatoes, roast them in the oven, let them cool. Once they're cool, what we'll do is we are going to take a pan. Okay, we're going to heat the pan and add some olive oil, of course. All right, this dish is laden with one of my favorite herbs, which is cilantro. So what I've done to the cilantro here is I've really just coarsely chopped it up. Don't worry about them being even pieces. You can even take your cilantro and stick it in your food processor, pulse it a couple times, and you'll get cilantro that looks like this. Cilantro is going to cook down in your pan with your potatoes and the rest of the spices, so it doesn't really matter what they look like, if they're uniform or not. I'm going to take my potatoes, and I'm going to throw it into the hot pan. And everything here is already cooked. We're really just letting the herbs kind of soak into the potatoes. So don't worry about having a really, really big pan and making sure everything's even. That's okay, don't worry about that. All right. So let's go ahead. Any questions before I start? Okay, so let me turn the heat down here because our sumac is ready. Okay guys, so now is the point where we're going to put our sumac in there. Bill was like, why do you need this much sumac? And I was like, can we please have some more? This is a really, really large bowl of sumac. You're going to use all of it. The reason being is that the whole dish, the whole flavor of the dish is the sumac, and you want it to coat all of your chicken. So pour your sumac on top. You can leave a little bit if you want to test it out to see. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pour the rest of it in here, but just for effect, I'm going to leave a little bit in the pan. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is in a second, if you can come up here and take a look at the onions and the sumac mixture together, and you'll start to smell what it needs to look like, smell like. So come on up. All right, do you see how coated it is? Doesn't it?
Can we have some more sumac, please?
what? Yes, you may. Here it is.
She killed the whole sumac tree.
I did. So go ahead and add your sumac in there. Do you see, I mean, honestly, your sumac will cover all of your onions and it will look completely purple. Which is okay, how you want it. No, just let them go translucent. Yep. Yep. So imagine this soaking on top of the bread with the chicken. It's gonna be pretty good. All right, so one thing I'm gonna do that you guys are gonna think I'm crazy for is add some more olive oil. So we wanna make sure that it looks glistening. This is not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that. Not for the faint of heart. 6, serve 6. No. 6 very hungry people. No, the recipe portion size. Okay, so once we see it look like this, we are actually going to turn the heat off and we're going to toss everything in our bowl with our chicken. So, I'm going to show you guys how to do this. I'm going to wear gloves. I would recommend you guys do the same when you do it. Yep, you guys can come around. I don't mind. Sorry? Oh yeah. You guys want some gloves and to try this out with me? Whoever wants to try, grab some gloves from right there. I'm fine with that. Go on, grab some gloves and we will assemble the dish. I do want to show you guys the lentil soup while you're up here. Can you guys smell that? So when this is done, we're going to blend this up. Yeah, smells good, huh? Okay, we've got a trusty helper. Let's do this. Okay, here's the other glove. Great. So if you could help me by layering the bread on the bottom of the pan, that would be lovely. You guys can help with that. On top. Well, you know what? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and might stick. My olive oil. Here's my olive gas. So Bill's gonna get us another pan so that we can. Okay. So whoever doesn't feel like standing can sit. Please feel free to do that. But I'm gonna show you guys how to assemble this. So we're just gonna layer it on, and the purpose is that you guys can grab your own individual pieces of bread at the very end. That's why we cut it, or else you can just leave the whole bread. I can use another helper if you guys want. Anybody else wants to help layer that one? Great. All right. I think that one's good. I'm going to take this from you ladies here. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Okay.
You can do it. A little bit means a lot.
Basically. Okay. So I'm going to, you guys, I'll leave you up in 1 second. I'm going to add my onions to my chicken. Very aromatic. You guys will notice that. Not exactly. All right. It is, isn't it? It's my favorite. Okay. So what we're going to do is just let some of the onions steep at the bottom. Over here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're literally going to take, I'm gonna show you guys and you guys can help me do it. We're gonna take pieces of chicken and then we're going to take some of the onions and put on top. So onions are a little bit hot, it's not too hot, but a little bit hot, and then we'll do the same thing with the other pan. And once we do that, we're gonna finish it off with onions, the rest of the onions, and another drizzle of olive oil, stick it in the oven, and everything will roast together. And some chicken broth, sorry about that. Cool? Okay? It's okay, you know what, let's just leave it like that, and we'll share bread, it's okay. That's okay, yeah. Perfect. Alrighty. That's the right amount. Okay? Alrighty guys, so now we're gonna do the potatoes. I'm gonna take my gloves off. Thank you guys for coming up here and taking a look at that. I'm sorry I made you guys stand. Whoever would like to have a seat is welcome to do so, and whoever would like to stay can as well. Okay, potatoes, next dish. Okay. Sorry? Those are 5 chickens. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm sticking it up. Hold up, can I do some chicken broth on top? Alright. So you guys could lightly drizzle. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it since your hands are dirty. Thank you ladies for your help. Just like that. And you're going to throw that. Yes, please. Sorry, also.
Actually, back home they eat this in their hand and all the oil is dripping from their hand. That's how much olive oil. It's so tasty.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stick that in the oven. That will finish roasting while we continue the rest of our food. Okay, so the potatoes, we're going to throw some of our cilantro on top.
Do you ever use a cilantro stem or just the leaves?
I don't. You can? I don't though. All right, we're going to take our garlic. Can I have a time check by somebody? Quarter to 8. Perfect.
7:45.
Awesome. Okay, so I added garlic onto our potatoes. I've got some crushed red pepper here, guys. So we're not going to add this much because we're also going to add a pepper paste. So I just wanted to show you guys this is what whole crushed pepper looks like. We're going to take 1 pinch of it and lightly sprinkle it. This is the interesting thing of the potatoes. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Garlic in the bottle. Yeah, I just think that it kind of takes away some flavor for me. It's not the real stuff.
That's why I wanted to know what you said.
I would recommend using your whole garlic and just peeling it and using that.
Okay.
I don't like the minced stuff. It's just a personal preference. Yeah.
Would you recommend any olives in there?
You could. We've never done it that way, but you definitely could. Yeah. I think it would add a nice tang to it.
Yeah, it would.
Absolutely. This right here is harissa. So harissa pepper, all it is it's essentially a bunch of peppers that are ground up and they make a pepper paste. This is used a lot in Moroccan food as well as Palestinian food. So it's a little spicy smelling. We're not going to use a lot of it because it is spicy, but you're just going to see a couple of squirts. We want to make sure that it coats potatoes.
So it's the same as Moroccan.
Sorry?
It's the same as Moroccan. It is Moroccan.
It is Moroccan, yep. They use the same stuff. So we are almost out of our olive oil. Okay. We're going to drizzle some more olive oil on the bowl.
And you could not do that in the oven.
This? You could. It's better in the pan. You get that direct heat. I like it a little bit better. So this will all cook together. And we're going to add some lemon juice as well. So I also say in your recipes to finish off with some lemon juice. This is too much lemon juice. I'm not adding all of it. This is for effect. All right, we're going to use lemon juice a little bit later. So one thing you will be cognizant of is that you want your potatoes to be red once they're done. So the color should steep into it from your harissa. If it doesn't, you can add a little bit of tomato paste if you want that red color but don't want the spice. I happen to like spice, so I would add a little bit more harissa. But I know that that spicy flavor is not necessarily for everybody, so feel free to substitute. Right. Okay. So we do need a little bit of salt here. Okay.
So traditionally you fry it and then you fry it. I like it.
Yep. I'm sparing you guys the calories. See how good I am? All right. Okay. So I am going to add a little bit more harissa to this.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have my assistant is gonna finish this off, and I'm gonna start on baklava. I feel like that's what you guys really want to know how to make. So I'm gonna spend the majority of my time making baklava with you guys. All right. Great. So who here has not had baklava? Anybody? Yeah, probably not. Okay. So baklava is a traditional phyllo pastry, dough, dessert rather, with filled with nuts. So it can range anywhere from pistachios to walnuts. Sometimes you can see almonds, it depends on the type or the region. What we're going to do today is we're going to use walnuts. So walnuts, all right. Before we start doing that, I want to let you guys know that I've purchased the phyllo dough from here at the farmer's market. It comes in one package, these two rolls like this. You're going to use both of the rolls. I brought my own tray here to use. This is my tray. I'm sure you guys can find this here as well. It's a regular sheet here. I just know that I always use this much for my baklava, so I like it and I'm going to use it. But what you're going to make sure to do is when you pull your phyllo dough out of the freezer, let it thaw so that it's warm and pliable. You want to make sure when you unroll it, it's not frozen, it doesn't stick together, and it's perfectly pliable. So I believe this should be pliable. We're going to leave it here like this until we prepare the filling for it. So our filling is going to consist of 4 ingredients. The 4 ingredients are walnuts, sugar, cinnamon, and orange blossom water. Is anybody familiar with orange blossom water? Yeah? Okay, so orange blossom water, if you're not familiar with it, has a very strong, so can you guys pass this around and smell that? I use this in a lot of my cooking classes, so
I thought that was rose water.
that's orange blossom water. Rose water is similar, it's got a similar flavor, it's a little different though.
So is some baklava made with rose water?
Some of it is, yeah. We would traditionally do orange blossom water though. All right, so let's do the filling.
What are you putting in there?
This is just ground black pepper
Black pepper.
for seasoning. Okay, so we got our walnuts, and we are going to pour the walnuts into the food processor, and you're going to make sure that the filling for your baklava is kind of crumbly, a little pasty but a little crumbly. So when you do this, you do not want your walnuts to be too finely ground. You don't want it to be like a flour. You want to make sure you have that crunch from the walnuts. I've seen it done, actually, Bill was telling me that sometimes they make it here where it's through a actual meat grinder and the walnuts get really, really fine. I happen to like it where you can see the actual chunks of walnuts and you can bite into it. Either way is fine. I prefer this way though. So we're going to then add to the food processor some sugar. I'm just going to use this to scoop. I don't measure my sugar out, so you guys are going to a little odd right now, but I believe that should be good for now. If we taste it and it needs more, we'll just add some more, but your recipes are accurate. So what you guys have in front of you should be what you go by. Orange sauce and water, turn, wow, that is dangerous. Thank you, sir. All right, let's go ahead and add a nice dose of that, and then our cinnamon. So cinnamon is going to give it that nice flavor that I happen to love. So I'm gonna say that we're gonna do probably a teaspoon and a quarter. A little bit more. Teaspoon and a half. Okay, let's cover this back up and make our filling. So you wanna check it. Do you see how the bottom's starting to get a little pasty? So just mix it. Okay. Okay, so one way you can tell if you need a little bit more orange sauce and water is if it looks pasty enough. It doesn't look like it's kind of created a paste, so we'll pour a little bit more in there. All right, you see it starting to come together like that? That's exactly what we want. Okay. One more pulse and we should be good. That top is not getting it. That's okay. All right. It doesn't need to be fully ground since we're gonna make it. We're gonna cut into it anyways. So the effect is the same. Okay. So our filling is done. What we're going to do next is my favorite part, which is layering the phyllo dough and adding the butter. This is gonna look kind of scary because we're gonna add a lot of butter. Yeah, this is a lot of butter. If I'm making for one sheet tray, I would use 2 sticks of butter. This is a little bit more than 2 sticks of butter, but it's okay. We're gonna make do with it. So here we go. Always have your brush. This has butter on it already since I was playing with it. Open that up and create some space. Okay. Yes, it is. Everything's here. So here's what we're going to do.
There will be a test.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get it on there. All right, great. So here it is. It's completely thawed, and you guys see that it's like paper. It's very, very thin. So the first thing that I'm going to do is very, very fragile, so be careful. Okay. If it rips a little bit, it's okay. You're going to layer this. So do you see how this one's stuck together? Just try to peel it lightly. It's okay. Leave it together. So we'll leave it like that, and we will layer the rest of it. So the most important thing to note here is that you do a layer, and then you do butter. Layer, butter. So what I do is I typically will rip this like that. Do that.
I wonder if it tastes so good.
So like this, and then I'll lay another one on top, right here. Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as there's a layer. So take a ladle, drizzle your butter on top, and then brush it. So this butter is going to make sure that everything stays moist and doesn't start cracking. Do you guys smell the potatoes, by the way, that lemon juice and the cilantro? Yeah, good. Okay. So we do this. I also use my hand if I'm spreading the butter, so you guys, it doesn't have to be a rush. Make sure that your corners are what you get butter on. You don't want them to get crispy around the sides, so you'll see them start to dry out the most right here. Maintain your texture around them. So we'll grab another one. Layer. So what my mother-in-law was saying was that you got to make sure that you do it fast and it will dry out fast, which is true. Phyllo dough is very fragile and it will dry fast. So you're going to notice me quickly layering phyllo dough and spreading butter. So what we're going to do is we're going to use one entire layer of the rolls of phyllo dough for one full layer before we put the filling on top. So it's going to be really thick and delicious. So we got our edges, and we're going to continue this. So you guys can take a break if you like while I do this, or you can stay up here, never mind. I like the company. Yes. Okay, so while I'm doing this, we're going to have a burner that's making the simple syrup that goes on top of it. So we call it uplit. Uplit, what it is essentially sugar, some orange blossom water, a squeeze of lime, and some water. And essentially it cooks down together and will make a syrup. That syrup will be drizzled on top of the baklava once it's finished baking. So it'll really soak up in that baklava and become sticky and delicious. Not super good for you, but it's really good. Another thing that we're going to make sure we do is that when we make baklava, you always want to cut your tray of baklava before you stick your batter. If you bake your baklava and then you try to cut it, it's going to have big flaky mess and nothing is going to cut properly. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that it's buttery and moist and soft right now and cut.
It won't harm your tray.
It will not. No, I mean, they'll scratch up, but I've used this for baklava so many times. This is what my purpose is. Yeah, it's okay. This pan is pretty cheap. You can buy one and just use it for it.
So don't use a non-stick.
Don't use a non-stick. No, you're going to damage it. Cutting. Moist. You can take a towel that's slightly damp and lay it right on top.
That's how I do it. That piece of paper's making me nervous right now.
Thank you for that.